On a fresh October day, we're making apple juice. We're back picking again, aiming for another 5 buckets for apples to put through the press. But we're so fortunate here to have such a beautiful, beautiful property full of apple trees. And yes, these aren't cultivated, tended orchard. This is just luck of the draw. We go and pick what we can find. But as you can see from the footage, there's a lot still out here, even though we're approaching the end of October. So step one, of course, is going to be filling up these 5 buckets with apples. And as you can see, we have a lot of windfall, and that's what we're going to use right now, because with the cooler temperatures, you don't have that problem of bugs and things like that getting into those apples while they're sitting on the ground.
Well, after just a few minutes, we've managed to fill up 3 5-gallon buckets of windfall apples. We have 2 back at the house already, and as you can see, there's more apples here than we can get into the buckets right now.
Chris hasn't even started pressing yet, and look at all that yummy goodness in there already. Love making juice, even if it is a cold, rainy day. At least there's no wasps this time. And here comes the fun. Look at that. I should have brought out a cup. We were just saying how wonderful it is to have this press. It has earned its keep here on the homestead. We have made so much juice. We've used it for our sorghum syrup. It comes in really handy. If you get a chance to pick one of these up in your travels, certainly do so. So today we are pressing 78 pounds of apples. This basically equaled 5 5-gallon buckets full of apples. So not all of this is going to be juice today. We're also making syrup, which we will link the video above for that. But the remainder is going to be jarred as juice. So stay tuned as we take you through how we can our apple juice. We currently have our pressed juice in our pot on the oven warming. We did 78 pounds of apples, and we removed the 8 liters for the syrup. And now we are working on the juice with what remains, and it actually was more than what fit into my big 12-liter pot. So we've actually put 4 liters into the freezer and the fridge as well. So we're going to work with this. I'm thinking it's going to be around 12 liters of juice. But basically, all you're doing is taking that pressed juice point, and you want to bring it to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. You do not want to boil your juice, because once you boil it, it does change the flavor, and you end up with more of a cider type apple juice. So we're going to bring this to 190. We're currently about 170, but you shouldn't see this boil. And you want to keep it at that for 5 minutes, and then it's basically canned and into the water bath canner right after that. So we'll bring you back when we're right at that point and going to get canning, and we'll see how we do with how much we get here. All right, so we are 5 minutes in at the 190. To be honest, it's actually crept up. We're getting a little closer to 200, but we're still good. As you can see, not boiling, but we're starting to see some pretty good steam. So it is time to jar this. And basically, same principles. Scoop it in, fill your jar. You want to leave 1/4 inch head space and finger tight for your lid. And into your water bath canner it will go. And you're going to water bath can these for 10 minutes. That doesn't matter whether you're doing pints or quart jars. It is 10 minutes for both. And then leave it for 5 minutes and you're good to go. Another thing that we like to do with these is we do freeze it rather than canning it. We're just getting a little bit limited on our freezer space. So that's why some of these are ending up in jars. But we do already have quite a bit in the freezer as well, because there is something about a fresh juice that's pulled out of the freezer as opposed to a canned. It does always slightly change the flavor, but we do find this method is quite good for making apple juice. But basically, that's it. On goes our lid, finger tight, as you can see there. I'm using one hand, and we're going to put it into the water bath canner. So we have 12 jars of gorgeous canned apple juice. In the end, our 78 pounds of apples created 24 liters of apple juice. Now, of course, we delegated that up to a few different things, and we've put half of it into jars today. The other parts have gone to syrup and to the freezer. But basically, that is what you can expect or hope for, I guess, if you happen to get, say, 75 pounds of apples and want to run that through a press. Certainly give it a try. Apple juice is very, very simple. Like I said, the key to it is not to boil it, because once you boil it, it goes more like a cider. So stay tuned to see what else we get up to with apples this year.